Okay, so here's just a little reminder of what we talked about last week. If you've got a 30-degree angle, you're looking at this triangle right here. This is a 1-unit circle, which means that the radius of this circle is 1. So the formulas are x, 2x, and x squared of 3. So if the radius is 1, then 2x equals 1. Which means that x equals 1/2. So that's how we get the short side of this circle. I'm sorry, the short side of this triangle. And then if I plug in a 1/2 here, I get 1/2 times square root of 3, which is the same as square root of 3 over 2. So there's your two values. Square root of 3 over 2 is this long side, 1/2 is the short side, so that's how we get the coordinates for the unit circle. We come right, square root of 3 over 2, and up 1/2, which gives us that coordinate, square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. Okay, now let's go back to just simple right triangle trig, which is SOHCAHTOA. It's what we learned in geometry. So if we're talking about this angle right here, 30 degrees, the sine of 30 degrees is opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine of the angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. The tangent is opposite over adjacent. So we can say that the sine of 30 is opposite 1/2 over hypotenuse, which is 1. So 1/2 over 1 is 1/2. The cosine of that same angle is adjacent, so 3/2 over 1. I'm sorry, not 3/2, square root of 3 over 2 over 1. So we get square root of 3 over 2. Now notice, if you go back to that coordinate right here, the cosine of 30 degrees is the x value of the coordinate, because they're both over the hypotenuse, which is just 1. So the cosine of 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. The sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. And that's true going all the way around the circle. All of these coordinates, the x value is cosine of the angle. The y value is sine of the angle. You'll be able to use that going all the way around. If you look at 2 pi over 3, the cosine of 2 pi over 3, or 120 degrees, the cosine of 2 pi over 3 is negative 1/2. The sine of 2 pi over 3 is square root of 3 over 2. Very, very simple. Now tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so if we're talking about the tangent of 30 degrees, you're looking at 1/2 over the square root of 3 over 2. 1/2 over the square root of 3 over 2. Or in other words, sine of the angle over cosine of the angle. Let me rewrite that. Tangent of theta is equal to sine of theta over cosine of theta. Which in our case, if you're just talking about the coordinates, the points on the unit circle, it'd just be y over x. Since it's y over x, the difference in y over the difference in x, tangent is also slope, and you'll see that when we start to graph tangent, and that'll all make sense. But this formula right here is one that you really need to know. The tangent of an angle is the sine of the angle over the cosine of the angle. Okay? It's also, tangent is also, I'll just give you a few more facts about tangent. We know it's the reciprocal of cotangent. And it would also be, let's see, secant over cosecant. Not as important. We'll use that more later on. Okay. So in our case, going back to this triangle right here, I know I'm writing all over the place, I'm sorry. The tangent of 30 is sine over cosine, so it would be 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. The common denominators there, so we can cross those out. We get 1 over square root of 3. That needs to be rationalized, so we end up with square root of 3 over 3. Tangent of 30 degrees, or pi over 6, is square root of 3 over 3. So that's how you find your trig values. So if you're looking at your exact trig values chart, sorry, just trying to get situated here. Here we go. The sine is always y, the cosine is always x. Tangent is sine over cosine. Cosecant we know is the reciprocal of sine. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. And then cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, or cosine over sine. So when you go through to fill this in, we're looking at 0 degrees, which is 0 radians. Remember that point at 0 degrees is 1, 0. So the sine is 0, the y value. The cosine is 1. Cosine of 0 degrees is 1. The tangent is sine over cosine, so 0 over 1 is 0. The cosecant of 0 degrees is the reciprocal of sine, so 0 over 1 becomes 1 over 0, which is undefined. The secant of 0 degrees is the reciprocal of cosine, so 1 over 1 becomes 1 over 1. And then the cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, or cosine over sine, so 1 over 0, again, is undefined. .30 degrees, which is pi over 6. We already did that one. Let's look at, well, we didn't do it all. So pi over 6, the y value of the coordinate is 1/2. So the sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. Cosine of pi over 6 is square root of 3 over 2. Sine over cosine, you get 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. The 2's crossed out. You get 1 over square root of 3. And then when you rationalize that by multiplying the top and the bottom by square root of 3, you get square root of 3 over 3. The reciprocal of sine, you flip 1/2, you get 2 over 1. You flip cosine, you flip square root of 3 over 2. You get 2 over square root of 3. You rationalize that, you get 2 square root of 3 over 3. And then cosine over sine, the 2's crossed out, and you get square root of 3 over 1. And there's 45 for you. Pi over 4. So that'll kind of get you started on filling in that exact values chart. Okay. So I hope that this this will help you, get started figuring out exact values of trig functions. And if you have any questions, remember I'm here in the mornings, and I would love to help you. So thank you.